Greetings, my friends. I hope we're all doing well. I guess you could say this video is a follow-up to my last video titled "We Are the Savages," in which I presented the fact that we human beings are vicious creatures, all of us. The Homo sapien is a beast. But you may ask, what are we on the left-hand path to do with this knowledge? How do we utilize it? Well, the path to spiritual actualization begins within the human being's most animalistic, primordial aspects. So by going back, way back, and examining the, quote, primitive, savage cultures and learning of their esoteric ways, their systems of belief, and their methods in which to commune with the innermost depths of the psyche, we can maybe ascertain some raw, untainted truth. That is, if it's truth you're after. A few months ago, I made a video on a hypothetical example of the first person on the left-hand path and also the possible birth of witchcraft as a praxis. The core argument was that the retention of power through oneness, not with the spiritual collective, but with the divine spark within, was what was important to that original heterodoxical shaman. He, or it could have very well been a she, dared to step outside the bounds of the collective belief of the tribe, to stoke the black flame by channeling the flow of personal power through the kinetic activities of the individual for the benefit of one's self. And this method continued for thousands of years as outrageous, transgressive, and antithetical to the norms of the conventional beliefs. Hence, witchcraft began as a heterodoxical form of animism. But why would I bother with all this speculation? Why not just go through the motions and follow one of modernity's established occultic practices without worrying about the past? Why? Because if you want to know how sound any given structure is, you have to examine the foundation on which it was built. Because if the foundation is weak, the structure will fail. In truth, for me personally, it's all about doubt. What is the philosophy you abide by, be it esoteric or otherwise, built upon? Is it faith? The only kind of faith of any worth is faith in one's self. Otherwise, it's wishful thinking. Do you believe in the legitimacy of what you practice simply because it feels good? Thinking you have magical powers because you want magical powers isn't enough to obtain magical powers. Even after years of study, how do you know that that ritual you performed truly had an effect on reality? And if the desired outcome was manifested, how do you know it wasn't just simple coincidence? Truth is, you don't. But this doesn't mean you should stop and give up whatever it is you do practice. You must have faith, not in the practice itself, but in yourself, and that you are sound of mind. Even the most hardcore objectivist has to deal with faith that their perception of reality is true, faith that they're not dreaming, hallucinating, or insane. Herein lies the paradox of faith. Faith is the ability to ignore your doubts and I'm personally ignoring my doubts anytime I voice my opinion on sinisterism. Now, there are different forms of sinisterism, and the version I practice is primordialism, because I want to evaluate the foundation. I want to make sure it's strong and it is sound. I delve into the past to hopefully awaken genetic memories, that ancient ancestral knowledge that is at the source of divine gnosis. This, I believe, is what gnosis truly is, a resurfacing of knowledge through ritual and or meditation, buried within the psyche, buried within the very genetic makeup of the human being. These revelations don't come from on high, but from down low. And we, on the left-hand path, must go as low as possible to face the abyss, which not many are willing to do. The abysmal visage of the primordial depths is a horror that is incomprehensible. It is staring into the eyes of Leviathan and experiencing that inscrutable horror, that blankness, that emptiness that tears at the soul. A sensation far more horrible than the fear of death. What we're doing, we're endeavoring to outmonster the monster. Otherwise, the beast is free to crawl forth from the open conduit created by the hollowness of the soul and wreak havoc. A beast that should not be ignored. But due to these primal fears that are difficult to shake, we have anthropomorphized the beast to better commune with it. Hence the horned god. Besides maybe the sun, he is the most primal of gods, not only historically but psychologically, dating back to the Paleolithic. The essence of that first horn god carved into a cave wall lives within our collective memories. And here is the first example of one daring not to tame the beast, but to utilize its power. So with the organization, the sect of the Horn God, we dare to bring forth a rejuvenation of that primal archetype in direct opposition to the modern interpretation. Because what modernity has done is attempt to tame the beast and domesticate this god of primordial wrath while ignoring the truth that their version of the Horn God is a lie. Also ignoring the fact that many of those gods they cherish, the neo-pagans cherish, have roots in the primordial horned deity. In their raw forms, these gods were not compassionate father figures, but representations of the beast. The primordial beast that is psychologically and historically at the foundation of this path. So, in conclusion, my friends, I'm not negating the practices of my colleagues on the left-hand path who utilize techniques considered modern, because we obviously live in the modern world. In truth, I'm attempting to reinforce the legitimacy of these practices by better understanding where they came from. Because everything has its progenitors, and nothing is manifested from a vacuum. And to be fucking honest, I have a passion for ancient history and the occult. And when you can bring the two together, so much the better. Until next time, my friends.